Hello, team. Welcome back to another Line War cast. You can immediately tell that both players are really focused on the left side of the map. Generally, some islands on the right. Our two players today are Keaton, who is in blue and spawning up here at the top, and Notorious Nubs in red, who I'm not sure where Nubs is going. Right here to the left of the pick zone. Neither player would know immediately that the other one is this close. Nubs going for 3 factory, 1 airport, and we'll quickly find out that Keaton is very close. So the airport's going to take a while for this to come online and actually like get units out. Although Keaton's going for a non-rust strategy themselves, so it's going to be 1 factory going for tanks and airport with commandos, it looks like, and both these 2 barracks are going to be making commandos. It's commando drops immediately for Keaton, which is a good strat considering the map to get onto like this island and also jump to this part of the landmass as well. And a follow-up of a 2nd factory for Keaton. So still neither player will know. Let's check out what Nubs is going for. So it's tanks out of the factories. And now let's see what the first unit is out of the airport. It's kind of weird this wasn't building. I don't know what was going on, but there's a helicopter out of the airport now. Gas situation for both players. Nubs is presumably going to take this gas, potentially, maybe this gas, the forward gas. The only reason to take it in the open field maybe is because the gas will build quicker. But I can't imagine that outweighs the benefit of going for the back gas. It's just 3 tanks from Nubs. The factories are going to artillery at this point. And for Keaton's gas, I mean, either one of these are going to work, and Keaton's going to go for the one by the water, which if there was Navy in play, that might be a little bit risky, but I don't know. Both players were kind of picking here, so maybe it's just kind of known that this is the general area that Nubs is going to go. So at this point, both players know that this is as close of this as a spawn as, I mean, really can be, given the opening, like, grayed out area of like where both players are trying to pick. So Keaton's not going to go for the commando drop, which makes a lot of sense. No plane out of the airport yet. I guess it's really the money that Keaton doesn't have. These 3 tanks, it's really important to see what these 3 tanks do. If the 3 tanks get picked off and don't really get much damage or trade all that well, this could be like pretty devastating for Nubs. Nubs is going for the gas at this point, which is a great play. They can see it in the fog of war. I mean, there's refineries have anti-stealth characteristics, so Nubs seeing this is not a big surprise. What's unfortunate for Nubs is if Nubs runs out of gas here, the gas isn't done yet for red. At least the tanks are already on top of this gas, so they will snipe it. I mean, tanks take down refineries very quickly, but the tanks can't run away after this. So the question is the gas worth losing the 3 tanks? I think potentially. I wouldn't hate this if I'm red. If I'm playing as red right now, it's not too bad, but it's not ideal that the tanks are getting stuck, and it's really the next attack from Keaton. If Keaton decides to just, you know, go all in, kind of, this could be kind of hard for Keaton to hold. I'm interested to see what Keaton does here, because it has to be gas. Keaton has to go for a gas now. I really don't see what the other option is. I mean, there's planes still building. There's 3 tanks on the field. We need to check the economy, which is important. Keaton at 392, and Nubs also at 392. I mean, it's still a relatively close game. I almost think this is a wash with the gas getting sniped, and both players are reset to like an even footing. Keaton is going to move the tanks through the mountains to get to the back here, probably to try to cut off the infantry from expanding. If red got through this choke point and then got all of this territory, maybe that would, I mean, it would be a lot of economy, and that could be the difference in this game. Keaton's in a weird spot because besides just waiting for a gas, there's not really much they can do. This is nice that the tanks are able to cap for blue, and the tanks are relative, like, they're pretty good capping unit, so they cap very quickly in coordination with the 4 infantry here. Luckily for Nubs, they've bound the tanks and have the 2 helicopters working on it. And a big tactical advantage for Nubs right now is that they have a gas, and Blue does not. Keaton's starting the gas right now. I wonder if it would be worth it for these 4 tanks of Nubs to just race across the map in an effort to get on top of this base before any planes could be flying, right? Because Blue is out of gas. It might be hard to tell for Red to know if, like, there's a second gas on the way. I mean, I guess Nubs would know, so Nubs is probably pretty certain that there isn't a second gas on the way yet. As in the replacement for this first one that got sniped. 452 income for Nubs, and 452 for Keaton. I mean, this is a wildly close game, and has been the whole time. When Keaton gets this gas, these 3 tanks become very dangerous if you're Red, because there's not really much defending at home. I mean, yeah, there's 3 tanks coming out. This is a wildly interesting spot. Does Keaton go backwards here with these tanks? Because 4 tanks might be able to snipe the gas again. I mean, Keaton super sees this. This is Keaton's vision. Yeah, so the tanks are going to come back to try to defend this gas. Nubs could maybe move the other tanks forward, but even then, like, maybe that's not the play. It's kind of an interesting spot for Nubs, and I don't hate this play going for the gas. It's wildly important. If Nubs can snipe this gas, this again changes the game. I mean, the tank can't move, all the helicopters can't move. This gas is going to go down again, for sure. It's just a question of where the tanks go and whether they get out of this. So there you go, we see the plume of smoke on the tanks and the helicopters, so they aren't moving. Someone on stream in chat, which is SodaQuackers on Twitch, same handle, that's a self-plug. Someone was saying that the blue arrows here, by having something on blue command, it actually does some non-trivial amount of less damage, just by virtue of it being a blue command. And I don't know... there's also things about how quickly a unit is moving for how much damage it does. The quicker it's moving, the less damage it does. Presumably it's like less accurate. But my point is, I wonder if this was just on an orange command. I mean, these tanks would do more if they were on an orange command anyway, because they would actually fight instead of just sitting here. I mean, if I had a nickel for every time I left units on a blue command. 524 income for Nubs. 536 for Keaton, who still doesn't have a gas. There's a power plant in the back, which is a real pro move from Keaton. That's a big play. I like this barracks in the back for Nubs, but it's almost like there's just enough for Blue to defend this. And if all these tanks get taken out by a handful of helicopters and whatever units Blue has, the Keaton can very easily counterattack. I have no... we're 10 minutes into the game, and I have no idea who's in front here. Great flank from Nubs on the right side, or left side of the tanks, pardon me. These 2 tanks are unfortunately getting caught. And the 3 helicopters, one of them goes down, the second one very likely will, if these 2 SAMs target the helicopter. That's a relatively expensive trade for Nubs. And Keaton's got commandos on the other island already, so the economy is interesting to look at. Keaton's at 572 and Nubs is at 560, pardon me. There's still 4 tanks here for Nubs. And there's only 2 helicopters for Keaton. One of the things that's not going that well for Nubs right now is there's 2 helicopters for blue. There's about to be a third. As they get in higher numbers, the helicopters get more and more dangerous, especially against the tanks. So Sam's, this is perfect from Nubs to go Sam's at this point. 572 income from Nubs. How, yeah, and 608 from Keaton, who is starting to get the lead. Nubs didn't go past that mountain range to cap the bottom right, so it's possible that Nubs feels that they need to go all in here and just go for it, and it's a now or never moment, which I don't think it's that bad. Certainly if this entire army gets taken out, it is bad. I mean, the momentum of the game is definitely going to go in Keaton's favor over time, because there's not as much active capping going on for Nubs. It's really a great defense from blue. Nubs is out of gas. The second gas isn't quite there, and there's enough tanks on the field that the gas usage is actually like relatively substantial trying to move all these tanks. And this is tough. All of Red's tanks are running out of gas, and blue is going to be able to, yeah, take out the tanks. 596 for Nubs, 620 for Keaton. I wonder if Nubs was sending this barracks to cap down here. There's a lot of mountains and forests though, so the infantry moves slower and would cap slower. I don't know. Very, very close game. Well played. Both players well played. Thank you to Nubs for submitting this in the match replays channel in the Discord if you want to check out the Discord and learn about the game and chat more about it. Ask questions, whatever. Feel free to. And otherwise, enjoy. I hope you had enjoyed this video, and peace. Bye. That was the outro. Bye-bye.